Hello, everyone, and welcome to your LinkedIn profile presented by Willow Creek Employment Ministry. My name is Rob O'Brien, and I'm currently the sales lead at Epsona, which is a Salesforce ISV. And I have been in my past life a recruiter, so I'm very passionate about resume writing and LinkedIn profiles. I use LinkedIn on a daily basis in my current position as well as sales lead at Epsona. Jean, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Jean Stoner, and Rob and I have been with the Willow Creek Career Ministry for over a decade. In my former career, I was in HR services at Motorola, and currently I'm known as a job search pro because I'm a professional resume writer and LinkedIn profile writer, and I've worked with over 2,000 people in job transition. And you can learn more about Rob and myself at our LinkedIn profiles.
So, why even build a profile on LinkedIn? Well, number one, it gives you an online presence in a professional environment. Number two, it helps you connect and stay connected with your professional contacts that you run across in your jobs. And finally, it helps you engage in your community. Fun story about that. I have a really good friend who's a project manager, and he belonged to a project management group on LinkedIn, and they were all discussing best practices, and he made a comment that somebody found very profound, and that person was a recruiter, and he actually gained an interview out of it. So the point of the story is don't just look, but engage. Okay. So why else would you consider being on LinkedIn? Well, number one, it's a really easy way to inform recruiters that you are looking. And in today's job market and with the things that happen on a topsy-turvy thing, it's a really easy way to get engaged very quickly with that. Number two, you want to use it to look at your target companies. What types of things are they talking about? What's important to them? What are some news releases that are happening? So that when you go into that interview, you're actually informed. Number three, you can follow industry thought leaders. Again, just like my friend who's the project management professional, following thought leaders in your industry helps you make intelligent comments and engage in the community. You can also learn. There is a learning platform that is attached to LinkedIn, which is also very helpful. So improve your skills for that next position. You can find best practices via a piece called SlideShare. And Jean, I think you use this. You can find or sell services in Marketplace, right?
Yes, I do promote my resume writing service and find clients through Marketplace. It's a wonderful way to find gig opportunities if you're looking for them.
So what if you don't use LinkedIn? Well, unfortunately, your job search is going to be a little bit harder. You're going to miss out on job opportunities. You're definitely going to lower your networking abilities, and it inhibits growing a professional reputation. Branding is everything. So let's take a look at some user statistics about LinkedIn. First of all, it's owned by Microsoft, a very reputable technology firm. It has over 1 billion users in over 200 countries. There are 3.49 million users that look for jobs through LinkedIn weekly. 48% of users are active monthly. 2.2 new accounts are created on LinkedIn every second. So think about that. How many have been created since we've been talking here? 60% of the platform users are between the ages of 25 to 34, and 57 million organizations have published pages. That's amazing. Let's talk a little bit more about user statistics. 57% of unique visiting members assessed the online recruiting network via a mobile device. And so think about how big your mobile screen is, because Jean's going to talk about that a little bit later. 3 million users share content on LinkedIn every week, generating 9 billion impressions per week. Let that sink in for a moment. Okay. Recruiters are using mobile devices. So the thing that you're going to take away, if you don't take anything else away from our talk today, is that you are going to make your profile click worthy. So recruiters are using LinkedIn to find talent. And this is why you need to have a presence on LinkedIn. Recruiters are spending more time on sites. LinkedIn is one of the top sites. Most companies use at least one social media site to recruit new hires. And 97% of organizations are focusing on LinkedIn to find talent. And that came from Bullen Research. Other social platforms that you can consider, maybe you think LinkedIn isn't quite for you, but here's a few other ways that you can consider to find talent. You can go on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Quora, GitHub, Stack Overflow, and Meetup. All those are networking sites that you can easily connect with folks and potentially find that next position.
An example is I was working with a woman who was having a really tough time finding a job. And so I told her to go into Facebook and look for, she wanted a job in Elgin, Illinois. So I said, look for Elgin, Illinois jobs groups on Facebook. And she found a job that way. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So the other thing I want you to take away from today is don't be afraid. LinkedIn is really, really easy to use. It does not ask for any personal data, no social security number, no banking information. Your birthday is optional because it's just so that people can wish you happy birthday. It's a simple way to make yourself more visible and market yourself. And I'm going to say this is the key word. As a recruiter, networking, networking, networking. Every job I've had, probably in the last 10 years, I've always gotten through networking. I did not do the apply online job search. It did not work. Remember though, LinkedIn is different than Facebook. It's all about business.
That's wonderful, Rob. Awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do next is Rob and I are going to take you through the LinkedIn basics. I'm going to lead the conversation and ask Rob to provide her expertise. So what we'd like you to do is, if you can, go to your LinkedIn profile. As we go through this, we want you to assess your profile, red, yellow, or green. Red means, oh, that's missing. Yellow is it's a gap, green is it's perfect. So open up your LinkedIn profile if you can. And this is the format we're going to use as we go through each item. We're going to talk about 18 different criteria and how to do this well. And I'm going to try to drive a little bit. You're going to have access to our slides, but I'm going to do some demonstration going into LinkedIn Live if I can get there. So let's give it a whirl. Rob, fingers crossed here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go to LinkedIn. And the first thing Rob and I get a lot of questions about is, how do I keep this private? I don't want people to know what I'm doing. So to protect yourself, you simply go to me. So see, I'm up on top. I'm to the right of the bell. Always go to me when you get lost. It's all about me on LinkedIn. And I go down to settings and privacy, and I go to visibility over here, left-hand side, and I go down and check share profile updates with your network. Well, while you're making changes, you don't want to do that. So you want it to be off, not on. That's a way to ensure that your people aren't getting messages every time you edit your profile. Okay. So that's step one. Now we're going to try to get out of this. I need to get out of this setting of where I am. And I'm going to go back to my home page. All right. And now what we want to do is we want to edit your page. So you're going to go to me and you're going to go to view profile, and that gets you into edit mode. And you know that you're in edit mode when you see pencil marks. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at your contact information, and we want to make sure it's up to date. Rob, you want to comment about contact information and from a recruiter view, what they're looking for?
Yeah. So as a recruiter in my past life, I worked for firms that were smaller. I did not work for places that were like the Accentures of the world, right? So my company could not afford to pay for LinkedIn access as a recruiter because it's very, very expensive. So making sure that your profile's up to date and that you have an email here where you can easily be reached, your phone number, That's so helpful as a recruiter of a small to medium-sized firm. That doesn't mean that we're horrible to work with because I work for a small firm right now and I'm compensated very, very well. But my point is that this is an easy way for those recruiters to find you, and it's a good way to expand that network access, if you will.
Right. Thanks, Rob. And if your email isn't up to date, you can click on email and change it around. I'm not going to do that demo on the call here because it gets complicated. So, but if you need to revise your email, please do so. It needs to be updated, up to date with the current email you're using. While we're here, if your LinkedIn URL has a bunch of numbers to the right, you want to personalize it. And the way to do that is you just click here, linkedin.com, and in the right-hand corner, it's going to let you public profile and URL. It's going to let you edit your public profile and URL. You're just going to click on that. See how it has a pencil mark here. You click on it and you get rid of all the numbers to the right of your name. And that enables you and hit save. And that enables you to have a customized URL. And it's critical to do that because many times you're going to want to put your LinkedIn on a business card or on a resume, and you don't want to have a bunch of numbers to the right of your name. And you see how we do all lowercase, there's no dashes in between. That's an excellent way to personalize your URL. Okay, Rob, any comments about that, or we good?
We're good.
Okay, now let's talk about photo while we have you. You can see my photo. What's important is headshots matter. Happy, friendly face matters because your photo is all about meeting up with people face to face, either in a job interview or while you're networking, and you want people to recognize you. I'm going to show you a couple other photos. I love Rob's photo. Let's just go to Rob's page for a second. Hopefully we get there, Rob. Here we are. Rob, any comment about your photo?
So my photo, what I chose to do is I got a professional headshot done because my employer required it. But I have what's called a Trailblazer hoodie on, which is a very Salesforce type thing. And so when people come here and they see this and they know that hoodie, even though I'm more casual and relaxed, it's very acceptable in the space that I currently work in. So that's why I chose this photo. I think it makes me look approachable and people know me this way.
And look at it. It's a beautiful headshot, friendly. Rob looks very warm. It's perfect. And we call it dressing for your tribe. So Rob wore a sweatshirt, right? So the question, do I have to wear a tie or, no, dress for your tribe. This is perfect for Rob's business. Okay. While we're on Rob's page, we're going to look at a couple other things here. Look at her beautiful banner. Rob, you want to comment on your banner?
Yeah, this is the company that I work for, and because I'm in sales, it's important for people to easily identify something about me very quickly. And so when you land on my page, you see my company's branding, and you know I have something to do with Salesforce. So it just makes it easier for people who are looking specifically for my company to identify it quickly.
Beautiful. And then Rob, let's talk about your headline. Um, right. This is called your
Mhm.
headline. Can you comment on your
Yep.
headline there?
So what I decided to do in order to give myself credibility within, they call it the Salesforce ecosystem, is I focused on what is my title, because when people are looking at Apsona, they want to talk to somebody in sales. Number two, I want to show that I understand Salesforce. So I talk about being 2 times certified and that I have 5 super badges and I'm a 4 times ranger, which all means something to people who work in Salesforce. And then I also indicate that I am a community leader within Salesforce. So I have 2 groups that I volunteer on. So it just gives me street cred.
Fantastic headline. And your headline is one of the most important parts of LinkedIn because that's how you get found in a recruiter search. The recruiter may be put in, I'm looking for a sales leader. I'm looking for a 2-time certified Salesforce person. So these words Rob has in her headline are very much going to match a recruiter search. That's how you get found. Okay. I'm going to show you another example. I think I can, here's this is Brooke. So this is another person. Going to look at Brooks. So look at her beautiful headshot. And then she made a banner in Canva, Canva, that's very popular now. So if you have never played with Canva, go in and try it and try to make a customized banner. I'll show you a simple one. And then take a look at her headline: owner, nonprofit program director, political campaign advisor. So this is job title, and then some keywords: communication, digital marketing strategist, direct purpose driven organization. And she was named top 52 young professionals. So if there's something unique about you, throw that in there. Okay. But I wanted to show you this example because beautiful picture, beautiful banner. I'm going to show you one more. Marissa. Marissa just did, she wanted to be very simple. So we went with a Canva banner and see how she put in her name and just kind of a branding statement for herself. And then she added her title, keyword to be found in search. Beautiful headshot. She had a professional headshot done. In the slides, if you're interested in, now there are AI tools to take your photo and they produce beautiful pictures. So if you need a new picture, take a look at our slides and consider playing around with these new AI tools. Rob, any comment on what we've just done here?
I'm just going to say, if you choose not to put a picture on, I have to tell you, as a recruiter, that's an immediate turnoff. Would you ever show up somewhere with a bag over your head? That's in essence what you're really doing, is you're not giving us anything about your personality and who you are. So I can't stress enough that showing your picture is part of the profile. I know that some people choose to do things that are more on the personal side, where they have like a picture with them and their dog or whatnot. That's taking it, in my opinion, and it is just my opinion, a little bit far. This is your branding, and so I would make it all about you.
Beautiful, Robin. But what if I'm gray and I don't want people to see that I'm old? Does that matter?
I would
Rob?
say not. Nope, I don't think it does. In my opinion, I would rather see you as who you are.
But our suggestion would be just try to get a nice picture either through your cell phone or try one of these AI tools. You want it to be as professional headshot as possible. Okay.
Agreed.
Now let's go down to education for a minute. So here I'm going to go back to my profile. I'm going to go to how come I'm looking for my education section? I got to go way down here. So I'm older, guys. My education's more than 10 years. It's many years ago. So what you want to do is make sure if you dated more than 10 years, you just go to pencil mark in education and you go down. We'll go to Loyola for an example. And even though it asks you for month and date of when you went, you just can scroll all the way up to year and hit save, and it'll get your dates out of education. I would do that if you've got education more than 10 or 15 years older. Okay. The next thing we want to show you is recommendations. So down here, when I work with folks, I look to see if they have some fresh recommendations from 2023, from 2022. If they don't, that's a problem because letters of recommendation are obsolete. And what recruiters are looking for is, what are people saying about you online? So we encourage you to get 2 or 3 recommendations as fresh as we can. So you want them you want to be from the current year if doable. And the more senior you can get, the better. Rob, any comments on recommendation?
Sometimes I found when I am looking for recommendations, it helps if I give a recommendation to the person that I'm asking to give me a recommendation. So it tends to be a very easy way to get reciprocity, if you will, by just giving a recommendation. And I did that several times when I worked at Rand Corporation. And so my recommendations, I believe, are in 2022-ish, because I gave recommendations to folks. So
Excellent. Okay. So the next thing we're going to show you is something important. If you're in a job search, you want to go to, got to find it here. If you're actively pedal to the metal, you're looking for a new job, you want to go to open to work, and you want to let the recruiters know you're looking by very meticulously filling out this section. So it's important, I'm going to get out of here a minute, and it's important to put in the exact title of a job you want to do next. So Rob, can you give me a keyword, and we're going to look for some job titles. What kind of job you want to do next, Rob?
enterprise sales.
Enterprise sales. So we're going to put in that keyword. Rob said, I want to work in enterprise sales. And we're going to go down through this list
I'd probably do the representative is where I'd start.
And find the best keyword that matches Rob. So we're going to do enterprise sales representative. Okay. So now we're going to put in enterprise sales again, because Rob wants to work in that space. And Rob, is there anything else you would pick here, or no? Are we good?
Account manager, enterprise sales would work.
Okay.
The last one at the very bottom.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. So what you want to do, the point we're trying to make is you want to match your job titles with what's in the LinkedIn database, because that's how you get found by recruiters. Okay. Rob, is there any other keyword that of a potential job title you might be interested in? Or is that
try Salesforce ISV. I don't know if it'll work or not. I'm
let's
not
put
sure
in the
what that
word
looks like.
Salesforce and let's see what we got. Okay. So we got a lot of different words for Salesforce. Rob, anything matching you here?
I would probably dabble in the Salesforce consultant area, because I sort of do
awesome.
consulting with what I do.
Okay, so now we're going to put in the word Salesforce again and see if there's a match, Rob, for you. Anything else here?
Customer relationship management, business analyst.
Wow, awesome. Anything? Should we try one more or no? Are you good?
No, that'll do it.
Okay, so LinkedIn limits you to 5 job titles. So Rob, is there any other keyword we need to put in, or we got you covered?
I think you got me covered.
Awesome. Okay, and then Rob, do you want to work on-site, hybrid, or remote?
Remote.
Okay, so we're going to click on remote. And okay, if you're remote, Chicago, we put in Chicago, right? Because you want to stay in Chicago, right? And then United States, right, Rob?
Yep.
Okay. And then are you immediately applying or flexible, casually looking?
Casually looking.
Casually looking. Okay. You want a full-time job, part-time contract? What do you want, Rob?
Those two are fine. Full-time and contract is
Perfect.
fine.
And then you hit save. And what that just did there is that turned on to the recruiters that we're looking for a job. Okay. And I encourage you to include 5 job titles, because that'll increase your chances of being found by a recruiter. And also make sure some of those job titles are in your headline, because that also increases the chances to be found in a recruiter search. Okay. Now, Rob, any other comment about that?
No, I think that it makes a lot of sense, and it makes it easier for recruiters to find you.
Okay, cool. Now, the next thing we want to look at, when recruiters look for talent, they do sometimes search by location, because many jobs are hybrid and they need to find people in the location of the job. So you see how I have here greater Chicago area? But if I was planning to move to Scottsdale, Arizona, as an example, and I know that I'm moving to Scottsdale, I would change my location to Scottsdale versus Chicago. So that's just important to keep in mind if you're planning to relocate before you land your next job. Rob, any comment or questions about that?
No, because there are, especially given the current climate after COVID, there are a lot of hybrid positions that they want folks to come in 1 or 2 days a week. So that seems right, spot on.
Right. So the trend now is hybrid. So you want to think like a recruiter and how do you become found for a hybrid position and match up that locations for you to be successful there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to skills. So I'm going down, down, down to skills. And you can see that I have 51 skills listed. And there's a ton of them here. LinkedIn just changed their algorithm so you can actually put in 100 skills if you're so inclined. But what's most important, remember Rob talked about recruiters are using mobile to find talent. So you want to make sure the top 3 skills are match what you want to do next. Okay. And in my sample, I don't want to do this next. So I'm going to click on these 3 dots and I'm going to reorder and I'm going to put my resume writing, my LinkedIn profile writing first, because that's what I'm doing now, even though I did this other work in a previous job. Okay, makes sense? So you want your top 3 skills. Now they're suggesting 10 because if a recruiter finds you and they're like, oh, those 2 skills are great. That's what I'm looking for. They're going to click and they're going to look at your top 10 skills. So you can easily move these skills around. Just grab and drop. Okay. Rob, any comment about that on skills?
No, I think it makes perfect sense. You know, we are a mobile society and everybody's looking at that tiny screen. So just remember to put what's most important at the top so they can easily see it and you are clickable.
All right. Okay. So the last thing, a couple more things, and then we're going to go to the slides for a minute, is network. Somewhere here it tells you, okay, you can see that I've got 1,800 followers. I've been on LinkedIn for a very long time. But what's important is you want to build your network. Start with 50 and grow from there. Rob, any comments about followers and network?
This is something I use inexplicably all the time. And in fact, my current employer has commented several times on how large my network is, and that's one of the reasons that they connected with me is because they saw that I had a network that I could potentially work in the Salesforce ecosystem to succeed at my job.
And it's easy to, Rob, is there somebody you want to connect with? I'm just going to do a quick demo here. We won't connect, but I'll just do an example. Can you think of a name of somebody we can connect with?
Boy, you put me on the spot.
I can't think of
Gina,
anybody. Gina,
Gina,
okay.
and then it's SZ. I don't remember how
Okay.
to spell the rest of her name. It's something very, very long.
Okay, let's
I
just
know the
say,
company she works at, but
here's a Gina. If we
yep.
wanted to connect with her, we would just we'd view her profile. We type her name up on top as I did. We'd view her profile. We go to more and we go to that connect button and send a personalized note. It enables you to add a note and you would send a message to Gina to connect with her. It's that simple. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So networking is great. The other thing that's super helpful is companies. If it's always great if you're in job search to have a target list of 10 to 20 companies. So, Rob, can you think of any company that we should follow?
Attain, Attain, Attain
ATTAI,
Partners.
a
Mm-hmm.
10 company. It's an advertising
It's
company.
down at the bottom there. It's got the red, oops, it's
Okay,
got the
so let
red
me go
logo.
back to Attain. So if you want to follow a company, all you do here is type in Attain, and it's
Partners.
the red one, partners,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you hit follow, and by following them, they become part of your feed, and you can network into those companies easily. So see when you go to view profile, I'm going back into my profile. I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to make sure that I'm following 10 or more companies. Just down here on the bottom, it'll say companies and it'll show all the companies. If I'm not following those I want to target, I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to type those company names in. I'm going to follow. See all these companies I'm following? Picture that as a target list of companies of firms I want to work for in my next job. And that's going to enable me to network into those companies. All right. So now the last thing we want to do is I'm going to open up the slide deck a minute. There's 5 more minutes and we'll be done here. I'm going to pop out of LinkedIn and I'm going to go find our slide deck. I'm sorry, give me a minute here. And I'm going to just talk about a very important part of LinkedIn, which is the About Me section. So there's a section in LinkedIn that enables—
You might want to put it in presentation mode. It might be
sorry.
easier to.
Let's go back into that.
It's down and to the right. There you go.
So recruiters, when they find you on LinkedIn, if they're interested in you, they're going to go read this About Me story. Okay. And you want to have a good story because, hold on one sec. We remember information woven into stories 22 times more than facts alone. So how do you write a great story? First of all, there's some great examples of people. I've listed them here. And so if you want to go look up people's stories, just check these folks out. But now that we have ChatGPT, you can use it as a junior writer. And what I did here is I put in a prompt that you can use to get a draft of an About Me story. And then you have to personalize it. Don't use just what ChatGPT cranks out, but you got to customize it for you. But it'll give you a nice outline and you can probably reuse some of the content that it produces for you. Rob, what's your comment about ChatGPT?
So we recently did this particular LinkedIn seminar to a bunch of people that were in the tech industry and had lost their jobs with all the tech layoffs. And one of the things that my 2 recruiter friends said is, if you're going to use ChatGPT, that's okay as long as it's the starter for your prompt or whatever it is you're writing. But then you need to take whatever ChatGPT gives you and update it so it's more personalized to who you actually are. And it's talking like you talk, not like ChatGPT would talk. And it's very evident. Some people literally did copies and pastes, and 2 or 3 people had the same type of paragraph. It was very clear ChatGPT had written it.
Yes, you have to be very careful with the generic kind of vanilla kind of writing ChatGPT does. But it's a great, if you want ideas, I call it my junior writer. It's a great place to get started, and especially if you struggle with how to write an About Me story. Also, in LinkedIn, a lot of people say, do I copy and paste my resume into my profile? And the answer is try not to. If you can be a storyteller, that's better. And what they're really looking for is, for each job, tell me what the challenge of that job was. What was unique? What was the problem they hired you to fix? Or what was the opportunity they asked you to go after? And how did you, what kind of strategy did you use? Or what kind of innovation did you use to make a difference? And then you just want to pick a few things from your resume. Keep it short and sweet. I call it strategic impact of what you want to showcase as part of that LinkedIn profile experience section. So you can come back to the slide. It's in the slide deck, and it's great. It's a great example of how to write a nice experience story in your LinkedIn profile. Okay. Well, that's it for us. I'm going to just pop down to the end of our slide deck here, because Rob and I covered all this other information. Oh, there's just a couple of things. Just make sure you do complete your LinkedIn profile. There's a lot of extra stuff you can put in LinkedIn. Make sure you have a comprehensive, a comprehensive profile that is fully complete. Some people skip this section and it's pretty important. The other thing is, you can, I love this guy. His name is William Aruda. He's the father of personal branding. And he said, make LinkedIn simple just by showing gratitude. You can do it 10 minutes every morning or 10 minutes once a week, where you like, comment, and share on people's posts. And a simple way of doing that is you can compliment the person for what they say. You can add your insights. Don't be rude or confrontational, just some thought leadership. Or you can ask a question to the person to try to engage in a conversation with them. And this is a great way to start networking and building connections on LinkedIn. Rob, any comment about that?
Yeah, I will say that this is where my LinkedIn profile comes in extremely handy. So the Salesforce ecosystem is very chatty on LinkedIn and or Twitter. And what he is saying to do here is exactly what happens all the time. Like anytime somebody gets a certification and they share it, lots of people will like it and they will congratulate them. Or if it was a hard certification, that person might post, hey, this was a tough one, blah, 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 blah. And then you get comments like, oh, what did you use as a study guide? So it's a really simple way to engage.
Thanks, Rob. So
Mhm.
that's all we have today. We want to thank you for joining our webinar. And if you have questions, you can reach out to us on LinkedIn. Rob, any other comments you have?
No, I'm just really glad to have done this with you. And thanks for your time today. Hopefully this was helpful.
Yeah, all the best.